The Eliot School in Jamaica Plain has long been known as a hub for arts, crafts, and learning for all ages. Currently, the school is starting a community process for renovation and possible expansion. To tell us what's planned are the two co-chairs of its space planning committee, Melony Swasey and Ed Forte. Thank you both very much for being with us.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
I want to start with Ed, since you're the design building person here. For people who don't know the Eliot School, it's a landmark in JP, but explain a little bit more. Talk about what this place is.
Well, the Eliot School is just a jewel. It's a gem of a building. It's a Greek Revival schoolhouse built in 1831. It's a brick building set off in a park-like setting, about an acre of land. If you're familiar with the
right, yeah, Eliot Street there,
right, Eliot Street. Yes.
Right. Of course, the other thing that has to factor in here also is that your programs now have sort of outgrown that building because you have an annex somewhere in JP. Too,
yes,
right?
we do, yes. We're kind of bursting at the seams. The enrollments have been increasing over the past 3 years dramatically. We now offer programming through Boston Public Schools and in the libraries and community centers, but also we just don't have enough room in the old schoolhouse for all the classroom activities that we need to provide.
Melony, what about this sense that not only is there a tightness of space here, but there is a desire, maybe a need to get more from the Eliot School?
Yeah, I mean, the school is growing really well under Abigail Norman's leadership, the executive director. So it's true that we want to do more, but I think really honestly what's prompting this process is just being able to serve the current needs we have. So part of why we have this annex is because the administrative staff have had to move off site. We don't have enough room for the current classes. We do everything from woodworking for people of all ages of life, woodworking, fiber arts, furniture, photography. So there are a lot of media going on, more and more demand for our programs. And so just to meet the needs we have right now, we need to expand. We probably need a couple other classrooms. We also want to be able to have more accessibility. So an elevator, for instance. Bathrooms, we just actually don't have modern bathrooms in the building. It's a very charming building, but it can't quite accommodate even our given needs right now. So yeah, this process might allow us to think bigger about expanding our programs. That would be lovely, but we have some immediate needs to satisfy.
That reminds me, I have to confess, the only time I've been there was on an open studios day.
Yes.
And it was a nice place to visit, but
right.
Not so easy to get around.
Right, well, not just that. I mean, even if you've gone in during open studios, which is a big event that happens around the neighborhood once a year, we actually have to clear out the entire wood shop just to even make space for people to come through. But if you were there on a regular day, you would see that the wood shop is right above the upholstery space. So the noise from one is countering what people need below and so on. It's complicated. So the school has really efficiently maximized the space to do all kinds of programming, from, again, young people's programs to adults making furniture, but in a day-to-day, even though it's working, it really isn't sustainable.
Going back to Ed, I guess another design or planning issue here is parking. I know a lot of people walk or they bike to the Eliot School, but
yes.
You know, I do some business in that Center Street business area, and it's tough to find a parking space, and I don't think people on Eliot Street want any more cars their way. So what do you do about that?
No, they don't. This is really going to be one of the most challenging issues for our architects who are going to be looking at that, how we use the site. One of our goals is to preserve as much open space as possible around the school. So how do we, you know, many of the students that have difficulty getting to the school with drop-off. So at the very least, we'd like to provide a drop-off area for students. And it would be great to have some staff parking, even small, or visitor parking, a small area for parking. Loading is also an issue. Melony mentioned the wood shop. We have about once a month,
I believe so.
About once a month, we have lumber deliveries with a large truck, and the way that truck has to access the site now is really not ideal. The streets are very narrow.
In a quaint residential street.
At that location. So those are going to be all of those challenges: access, parking, and drop-off are going to be big challenges for our landscape architects looking at this.
No, another thing that's going to be factoring into the process here is that this isn't just about the Eliot School saying, you know, we want more business, we want to expand. You have partnerships in the community,
That's
and I
right.
guess you have other organizations and entities that sort of depend on the school to deliver.
Absolutely. I mean, largely. So what a lot of people don't know when they look at our pretty schoolhouse is that there's so much that happens inside those doors and then beyond. So we do have programming that's going on all throughout the day, year round, for people to come to our classes on site. We serve about 1,500 people throughout the year on site in all kinds of classes. But then we also serve about 2,000 young people throughout the city of Boston. So that's in public schools, community centers, libraries, housing projects. So in a lot of schools, the Eliot School is their art teacher, whether it's painting or woodworking. So there's a significant need for what we do, and we could actually increase more, but we need the basic infrastructure to be able even to handle the scale that we're at right now.
This is BNN News, and we're talking with Melony Swasey and Ed Forte from the Eliot School in Jamaica Plain. Ed, you're at this early stage now. This is just the time for conversation with the community. So explain, what's the next step?
Well, we have a meeting coming up on January 1st. I'm sorry, January 1st is already bad. January 28th at 2 o'clock, from 2 to 4 at Farnsworth House in Jamaica Plain. And we're inviting anybody from the community and beyond, anyone who would like to participate and come out, meet the architects we've hired to do the feasibility study. They will be there. And we'd want to hear your ideas about what you would like to see. And so it would be a great opportunity for the greater community to participate. So then beyond that, there'll be another series of community meetings where as we develop the work of this feasibility phase work. So there'll be other opportunities for the community to see what we're doing, give input, and we'd like to get your participation. So yeah.
Melony, I mean, this is a school that offers things that people really prize in terms of the arts and the crafts, but you know, you can get some of those at other locations, at least in the greater Boston area. So what's so special about getting it from
Such a good
Eliot?
question. So if you're talking about woodworking, which is one of our biggest, most in-demand programs, there's really nowhere in Boston where you can go and be a young person and learn woodworking, or an adult and not have to enroll into a trade program, for instance. So we actually have places, not sufficient, but places where you can actually store your projects on site and do them ongoing. That's different than some community continuing ed programs. So it's very in-house. We have really top-notch instructors, faculty from all around the region coming in. And we also have people coming from all over the region to take classes. So you have everything from folks who are retired and want to do things during the day and might enroll in successive classes one after the other. So it's unusual in that you can create your own curriculum almost. You can take a series of courses with one instructor. You can shop around. You can do interdisciplinary, you know, between furniture. You might be doing finishing work and upholstery together. That's pretty special.
Well, I should mention, if people want to find out more about that, you've got a website with some details too, right?
That's right.
Just-
Actually, off the top
I'll
of my
just
head,
Google
it's
the Eliot.
probably-
That's cool.
it's-
That's how I found it.
Yes, these days it's eliotschool.org. Might be.
I think-
I'm
I
not
believe,
sure if we have
yeah.
a "the" in it.
Yeah,
These days we don't have to know our own URL
It's
addresses.
ELIOT too. All right.
That's
So
right.
thank you very much, Melony Swasey and Ed Forte.
Thank you.
Come out on January 28th.
Yes, January 28th.